with the Federation's public losing faith in Starfleet's ability to protect them in the latter part of the 24th century, Starfleet Command would commission a new class of starship, the Trident Class, to boldly go out into the cosmos and recruit potential Federation member worlds. But what do we know about this diplomatic powerhouse? Well, today we'll find out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon, a Star Trek web series that dives into the history of any given topic using beta canon sources and my own imagination to fill in the gaps. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the Trident Class as first seen in Star Trek Online, to better understand its place in Star Trek history. With an ever-evolving beta canon universe, there seems to be an endless supply of starship designs. However, due to the nature of Star Trek Online being a video game designed to be the ultimate in Star Trek fun, sometimes their designs and/or storylines simply don't jive with established canon or beta canon. But for me, the Trident Class is really different. The moment I upgraded its 3D skin and placed the starship into Space Engine, it had immediately inspired me with a story to tell. Something about it cried out to me, and the pieces for this video fell into place. And so what I've done here is taken the elements of Star Trek Online that do work with the various levels of canon and crafted a story around them, in the hopes of creating an extended Star Trek universe that you all can enjoy, with no disrespect intended to the amazing people behind Star Trek Online. But because this is just a beta canon video, all information relayed should pretty much be taken with a grain of stardust, and only considered a little bit of Star Trek fun. And so, with all that out of the way, let's begin. In the late 2360s, Starfleet Command and the United Federation of Planets began to realize how complacent and truly unprepared they had been for that era. The Borg attack on Wolf 359 had started a complete revolution of Starfleet technology, the likes of which no one had seen before or had even expected. Then, in the 2370s, the Dominion War would reinforce the feelings the Federation public had of an unjustified and overconfident Starfleet, and the hubris that organization had displayed in the previous decades. Instead of preparing and maintaining Federation defenses throughout the Alpha and Beta quadrants, Starfleet Command had instead focused on luxurious scientific starship designs, and that had left the Federation vulnerable. With Federation citizens losing faith once again in the organization charged with protecting them, Starfleet Command began several new starship design projects in order to regain the support that they had lost. Projects such as the Galaxy Class refit program, along with the Sovereign and Odyssey initiatives, would be constantly reported on and on display for the Federation's public at large. But after the Dominion War, as Starfleet and the Federation licked their wounds, another project would come to the forefront of the public's attention, that being Project Trident. During the Dominion War, the Federation realized that they needed more allies, and this in turn would make the Federation Council push through several recently discovered alien species at an almost alarming rate. One of the problems initially discovered in this process, however, was that convincing these alien races to join the Federation during a time of war was not an easy process, a situation made far more difficult by the fact that contact with these alien worlds was often being made by older, much less impressive Starfleet starships of obsolete classes such as the Oberth class. This even caused Starfleet itself to pull the Enterprise E, the flagship of the Federation, out of direct combat in the Dominion War, instead relegating it to first and second contact missions, in the hopes that its impressive stature would convince alien worlds to join the Federation post-haste. Realizing these issues after the Dominion War, Starfleet almost immediately set up a starship design team to create a vessel class specifically for second contact and ambassadorial functions connected to the Federation, and as a result, the Trident Class would be born. Sitting at a length of approximately 480 meters, the Trident Class would be designed to be operated by 300 officers and crew members, with specially designed accommodations for an additional 500 admirals ambassadors, and diplomatic staff. Due to the intended nature of the class's mission profile, that of first and second contact, as well as exploring the furthest reaches of Federation space, the Trident class would have a standard safe cruising speed of warp factor 8.4, with an emergency maximum speed of warp factor 9.982 for 12-hour increments. In order to ensure the ultimate in protection for any civilians and diplomats aboard the Trident class, it would be both armed and protected to its teeth. A tactical array of weaponry that included the latest phaser array systems, along with torpedo launchers capable of firing photon, quantum, and transphasic torpedoes, the Trident class would also be equipped with Starfleet's latest ablative hull armor and multiphasic regenerative shielding. A large sensor array and secondary deflector pod would be slung under the starship's triangular-shaped primary hull. As a result, sensor resolution and range would be far superior for the Trident class than even the current jewel in Starfleet's crown, the Sovereign class. The Trident class's sensor array was even able to easily detect cloaked vessels within weapons range by its constant monitoring and analysis of minute particles of space dust surrounding the starship, though this ability of the class would not be confirmed until long after the class's decommissioning. The Trident class would also contain a specially designed transporter array system in this pod, which would allow for emergency long-range transport of the starship's entire crew, along with survival supplies stored within its buffer. And thus, should a vessel of this class need to be evacuated quickly, this enhanced transporter system could beam personnel aboard the Trident class up to 5 light-years away to any planet or vessel target. A specially designed emergency power core would be installed to utilize this function, only being active in the event this emergency system was used. And although a clever innovation for Starfleet at the time, the truth was that long-range transport was still in its infancy, making it still a dangerous process to undertake. And so Starfleet would issue a directive that this particular emergency system had only to be used when all other emergency evacuation possibilities had been exhausted. And this particular emergency system was only utilized once before long-range transport systems had become completely safe and standardized. And luckily, during the one use of that system, over 97% of the starship occupants, which had entered the beaming process, were rematerialized at their proper destination. When quantum slipstream engine systems became the norm for Starfleet, the Trident class's underslung pod would be converted to use the quantum deflector dish. Though not realized at the time of its creation and construction, the Trident class design itself was perfectly suited for slipstream travel, extending the class's lifetime well into its future. The Trident class would have a long and fruitful career in Starfleet, being responsible for over 55% of the negotiations with alien species that would end up joining the Federation. But as the 26th century approached, Starfleet Command would finally decide to decommission the class in favor of a new, improved design, which would continue this class's legacy. Learning from their mistakes of the past, the Trident class would be successful in reclaiming some of the lost faith that Starfleet had suffered in the latter part of the 24th century, earning the Trident class its diplomatic place in Starfleet history. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon. What do you think of the Trident class and the historical narrative that I've created here? Do you want to see more videos like this one? Well, leave your comments in the section below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video we release. Want to help the channel study galactic anomalies out in deep space? Then consider becoming a channel patron, a major help which allows this channel to buy resources and 3D models to keep it going. The link to our Patreon account is in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Live long and prosper.